Welcome to UCast, Rena Jensen.
Welcome to UCast, Kendra Eris.
They say if at first you don't succeed,
Try again.
yeah, they do. And now,
Yeah.
That's a loaded
So
situation.
how many podcast episodes did we record?
We recorded our first episode twice, and then two additional episodes. And I said, "Wow, this is so easy."
Yeah. How'd that work out?
It didn't. It didn't work out.
Yeah, but that's okay. Here we are again.
Right. So I will say, for all 5 of you that listened to our first podcast, which 2 of those people were us, I'm sure. Well, it was.
I didn't.
So for all 4 of you, listen to our podcast before. This is now going to be episode 1 because I'm going to delete that one. We had audio issues, and I thought I knew what the audio issues were, and it turns out I didn't know what the audio issues were.
Even ChatGPT couldn't help that mess.
No, it couldn't. Yeah. And I was so frustrated. So we had 2 other episodes, but so to introduce ourselves and to what we're doing here. So this is UCast, our podcast that's associated with U Conferences, yes, which is our women's conference located in Eastern Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for joining.
Yes. And now I'm like racking my brain. What did we talk about? Did we talk about anything good? No, but there is a couple things I want to do today.
Okay.
I want us to tell people who we are.
Okay.
Because, clearly they probably know, but a little.
Maybe not.
Right.
They know that we run a conference.
Right. Do they know anything else? Probably not. So my name's Kendra Eris, and I am a beauty professional. That's probably a good way to call it. I own and operate or participate in 3 businesses full time. U Conferences is gig number 1. Gig number 2 is I do hair and makeup and brows and lashes and spray tans at Bare Tones down in Czech Village. And then I also own a little store called Local in Palo, a little gift store.
Mm-hmm.
So U Conferences was made for entrepreneurs that are originally for entrepreneurs. It's definitely expanded. And so if you're not an entrepreneur and you think maybe this isn't for you, don't keep listening. I promise.
Yeah.
But Rena worked very differently with entrepreneurs. And when we met, she was coaching entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I still coach entrepreneurs. Yeah. So my main gig is an words experience-informed mental fitness coach. It's also a lot of words, so I have to remember what those words are. And it sounds like I don't know what I do for a living, but I do. I'm an experience-informed mental fitness coach.
And a very good one.
Thank you. I dig around in the subconscious of women and correlate a past experience to how they operate their business and their lives on a daily basis, and change that wiring in their subconscious so that those past experiences aren't affecting today's decisions and behaviors and reactions.
Do you only work with women?
Primarily. Yeah. No. So no, the answer is no. I don't only work with women, but I primarily work with women.
Right. And I would say the same. It's not that I've never waxed a man's eyebrow or styled a man's hair or tanned a man's ass for that matter. But I primarily work with women. And that's, I think, probably what we had in common when we first started working together was that, I said twice, that's annoying. Working in the beauty industry, I work with all kinds of women, all kinds of women that are trying to feel better about themselves, look better, be more confident. And that's, I think, how working with entrepreneurs really correlates to what I do in the beauty industry, because it doesn't seem to connect on the surface.
But it really does, because in both of our trades, we see a lot of confidence issues that aren't necessarily caught in general interactions with these women.
Right. That's
fair. What happened with the U Conferences is that Kendra was talking about how she really loved her entourage at one of the conferences that she had attended.
Yeah. When I was in an MLM.
Yeah. And we both recognize that there's a gap in our community for women that are in business by themselves or for themselves.
Or they're working somehow alone. We even find that even
realtors.
Right. Realtors, bankers, just women just kind of navigating the
business
world, looking for something to boost their confidence and boost their community.
and help them provide them with the tools they need in order to grow the business if they don't want to continue to do it by themselves.
Right.
And so that's really why U conferences came to be, is because we saw that gap. And being two women who were working by ourselves in our own companies for a really long time, um, we couldn't think of anybody better to start this than us.
Right. Well, and I think what I saw at the conferences that I was attending, and you've probably seen it too, and we've certainly seen it at you conferences, and what we would like women to get from it. So, like, if you're
Mhm.
coming to a conference, like, what do we want you to walk away with? Why would you come to this conference? What are you going to leave with? And I would see people leaving with like motivation,
Yeah,
feeling supported, feeling like they had answers to questions they didn't even know they had, probably.
yeah.
Um, feeling like they had community, somebody to talk to, feeling like somebody related to them.
I know of at least two women that have attended our conferences over the years that have quit their jobs and started their own thing.
Yeah. Yeah, which and I actually know one woman that quit her job, started her own thing, did that for a while, and then ended up back in the workforce. But which is fine. Like, none of that is bad,
Mhm.
but I feel like she had the confidence to know that she could move in and out of those chapters of her life.
Totally. Totally. And that's one of the beautiful things about the conference is that you will find the support that you need in any way that you need it. And we always make sure that the conversations that we're having, that we're curating, the speakers that we bring in are there to talk about the real issues that women have, not just, you know,
It's beyond surface level.
yeah, we try and get deep because we want deep. We all want deep. We all That's how we build connections. That's how we build community, is to be as real and honest with ourselves and other women as possible. And so we don't have a problem, having conversation or bringing in a speaker that it's going to talk to you about your pelvic floor health. Like,
Or,
or have a speaker that says that she told her boss to eat a bag of dicks. Like,
oh, that's right. She did
yeah,
say that. That was wonderful.
it was fantastic.
It brought down the house.
It really did.
And to that note, you can actually watch her. That was Amanda Goodman's talk, and that's on our YouTube. So go check that out. I'll make sure it's linked in the description here. But
Yeah,
we want people to feel like they can have whatever conversations they want and feel comfortable being open. And what I know is, and I don't think it's just social media. I think we blame social media a lot, but the term keeping up with the Joneses has been
mhm.
around for a long freaking time.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
There's even a movie called Keeping Up with the Joneses.
is there?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I look back to, I think about like suburban America, and somebody sees their neighbor and their lawn got mowed. Now
that
you
is
have to mow.
exactly the movie.
Is it?
Yes, Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Maybe I've seen it and I'm just subconsciously making shit up. I don't know.
They wear the clothes that need to be sold for, and so they're like in an up and coming suburban area, and
Oh, that's interesting.
it's really good. Tay
Well,
Leone.
but yeah, that's been going on forever. I
Yeah,
I remember hearing that phrase for the first time in the 80s. So I do think social media gives us a lot deeper view into other people's highlight reels for sure.
absolutely.
But I think we've been doing it as human beings forever.
We have. And the other thing about social media that we don't get to see, which is part of the reason why we want the conference to be so deep, is that people, because they are showing their highlight reels, if people are complaining on social media, they're not doing it in a constructive way. They're doing it just to complain or to argue or be confrontational or
Yeah, we
whatever.
want
But
people to know that they can use that platform and they can air their grievances in a way that would be productive
right,
toward a goal that
that's the part. So a lot of women, business owners specifically, don't want to share the difficulties that they're having in their business on social media because they think it's going to affect their business. And depending on how they're sharing it, it could.
right.
But it's important to know that we all have to start somewhere and we're all struggling
Everybody.
every day. And we're not alone in that struggle. We just have to be able to find the right group of women to support each other.
Yeah. I mean, Rena and I met for breakfast this morning before we came here to record this podcast, and I probably
Yeah.
spent a solid 20 minutes dumping my stress on her.
But we haven't seen each other in a while, so that
That's true.
so that happens, and vice versa.
Yeah. It's it's a heavy season in my
Mhm.
life right now. Not that it's not in yours, but it's just a
I
new heavy season for me.
Yeah, I don't have the things that you have to deal with.
Right. My daughter's graduating from high school, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have been through that or are going through it. I said to Rena, no one could have prepared me
Mm-mm.
for it's so busy. Anyway, and but if you looked on my social media, all you see is these like beautiful photos of her, graduation and senior photos and, the award ceremony. And I'll probably, post things like that. You don't see
Mhm.
the stress in the middle to get
Right.
to that.
When your hair is, like,
Oh my gosh.
out there
And
and
I'm not upset about any of it. It all needs to be done. And I'm excited to be able to celebrate her. There's just a lot of moving parts,
of course,
too many.
of course. I'm planning in a dual family, right? A blended family.
Right. Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
We have that going on too.
there's a lot of things that have to be taken into consideration, and the way that affects your business is
It does affect,
unseen.
yeah, and it does affect my business. I can tell you right now, I had somebody get a hold of me that wanted to, I tell my clients, if my brow clients, if you don't see something online where you can book, send me a message. Chances are I
Mhm.
can sneak you in somewhere, because the booking system um, books more time than I actually need to,
Right.
to make sure I can keep up with my schedule.
Yeah.
So I had a client reach out and she was like, "Well, if you couldn't do Friday, which is the day of my daughter's commencement, could you do Saturday, which is the day of her party?" And then I can't get her in the days before because I'm already booked. I'm really full
Mhm.
because it's just it is affecting my business.
And I'm sure there's a part of you that wants to be like, "Yes, I absolutely can squeeze you in." And the other louder part, the more reasonable part says, "No, you can't."
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, I fight with myself because it's like, well, what if she goes to somebody else and then that person's more convenient and that person has more time available and then I lose that client forever. And I don't just lose her, I lose her referrals. I
Right.
lose like all of that like side business that comes from taking good care of a client.
Which is not likely to happen because you do take care of your clients. And so they're
Right.
willing to, but these are all of the kinds of things that women in business are struggling with on a daily basis.
Hmm.
And
That's what we want the conference to. We can't alleviate the stress, but we can
no,
give you resources to handle it better.
well, I can help alleviate the stress.
She'll dig around in your brain.
I will. I'll dig around in your brain and help you alleviate that stress. But truthfully, there are, unless you know how to actually reduce the calm, the stress, the not reduce the calm, increase the calm, reduce the stress. This is a normal reaction
Hmm.
that people have. We constantly are struggling with, what if this person doesn't like me? What if this person, what if my prices are too high and I'm, nobody's going to buy my stuff, or whatever the case may be. We're all doing it every single day.
Right. So I think logistically speaking, we haven't even talked about that. Our conference happens the this year and next year will be the fourth week in March.
Yeah.
Depends on when St. Patrick's Day falls. Because if you live in Cedar Rapids, you can't do anything St. Patrick's Day week. It's spring break, and
Right.
so we've historically done the third week in March, but St. Patrick's Day happened to fall the fourth week. It also does next year as well. So it's the end of March every year. We picked that very strategically
We did.
because this is what we know to be true. The holidays happen,
Yep.
and then we all make big goals for the new year.
Yep.
Some of us call them resolutions. Whatever it is, everybody, the new year's a time to dream about what you can accomplish. And then winter happens.
Yep.
And I don't remember what the statistics are, but that's a huge statistic of people that
Oh,
drop off their New Year's resolutions within 2 or 3 weeks.
I want to say like 95%. I'm
It's,
going to look it
it's
up
a
real quick.
crazy amount. And then by the time March comes, we are, it's time to get to work. For the year. A lot of people's businesses slow down in the wintertime. And we were like, this is a really good time to renew your goals, to connect with community,
Yes.
to get motivated and inspired and feel like you can take on the year because come May, everybody starts
Right.
to get busy. Did you look it up?
It's 80%.
80% of people
Hmm.
lose their,
In the short term. It didn't say exactly what the short term was.
but yeah, that's a good, I mean, we
Yeah,
don't need to be.
it's 80%. So, by February, so in a month. Um, Yeah. So when we first started the conference, we actually had two conferences in a year because we were ambitious
And young,
and
younger.
now we have more experience and more knowledge and all that fun stuff. Anyway, um, so we had our first conference of the year in March because of this whole resolution thing that we just talked about. And then we had a second conference in October because we wanted to help women end the year strong and give them the motivation to power through.
Right, because holidays are coming and
Yep.
we just thought this is a good time to kind of reconnect.
Yeah.
And to cover, I mean, blessing in disguise, the conference grew enough that doing 2 a year was impossible to it was well, it wasn't impossible,
It
but
wasn't.
it was hard financially. It was hard to secure sponsors.
It was. There was a lot that went into it, and planning a conference, while we tend to put ourselves in a time crunch, we realized that it just wasn't a sustainable model to do two conferences a year.
Right. Yeah, it didn't work. So we went to one. So we've
Yep.
actually had 11 conferences since 2018 was our first conference, March of
Yep.
2018. And but it's not been 11 years.
No, it has not been 11 years. People are like, "Oh my god, you've been doing this 11 years." No. No, we
No.
haven't. And we also started the other reason we also went down to one conference per year is because we started the U Academy.
Oh, yes.
And the we did that in 2021, and that i- is a 9-month program that we've actually taken a step back for a couple of reasons. One of those reasons being that, um, well, we don't think a 9-month commitment is a lot. There are people that do think a 9-month commitment is a lot.
Well, truthfully, we've just had a hard time selling the academy and selling the idea of the academy is really selling the value of it. It is
Yeah,
such an amazing program, and Rena's
really is.
curated the majority of it. That's been her
I love
baby.
it. It's my favorite thing in the
It is, and it we ran 2 9-month courses of
world.
the U Academy. It is so very, very, very valuable,
Yeah,
and we are still working on. We won't give up on it,
we
but
won't. In fact, so we're trying to figure out how to bring it back in the most optimal way for everybody involved, for you and I, and for the women that attend,
right.
that join it.
We have big dreams, like, just like you and your business or whatever it is you're doing, we have big dreams
Hmm.
for this company, and the cool thing about it is it really just all revolves on the success of someone else, and
It really does.
we can't create success
Are
give
helping others
unless
be
others are
successful.
successful. Yeah,
Hmm.
and it's really interesting concept.
It is for two women that don't like to depend on other people.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why in 2020, after the world shut down, um, the conference had to pivot, and that was a huge undertaking. And you did a fantastic job. I wasn't as involved. I mean, I was, but
That was honestly a lot of, the vendors. I mean, that
yeah.
I started really spending money right before 2020 on vendors, including AV. That was the first year right before, audio visuals, what I mean. We hired Blue Sky Digital Media. Is
Hmm.
that what they're called? Blue Sky Productions,
Productions.
um, to produce the audio and make
Video.
it look good,
Yeah.
and feel good. They make the experience happen.
And so that the speakers can have a recording of their talk.
Right. Which, by the way, if you've made it this far, um, we are getting ready to release recordings soon. It takes time. I don't want to make any promises. It always takes more time to get those videos ready and uploaded and published
Yeah.
than I want to admit. But
Yep.
yeah, we're getting ready for that.
Yeah. So back to 2020. So in 2020, we had the whole pivot, and we did an online option and then a hybrid option the following year. And we knew that we wouldn't be able to sustain two conferences with those dynamics
Right.
and starting the U Academy. And that U Academy in 2021 was so insanely successful. At least from my perspective.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
We had 11 women apply, and we only accepted 9, but we had a slot for 10. And it is not you applied, therefore you get to be. it will still be an application process and a conversation with one or both of us before acceptance.
And it has everything to do with being the right fit for you. We can't
Yeah.
accept somebody into that program and not know that they're going to get the full benefit of it. Some people
Right.
just aren't ready. Sometimes their business doesn't fit what we're selling and what we're teaching. And it's just better to have that really honest conversation and be like, this isn't for you for this
Right.
reason.
Right.
Which sucked, actually. It
It
was
really did.
terrible.
It was difficult to do. Actually, I think we only accepted 8, if I remember correctly.
I
Now
don't
that
know.
anyway, so
It'd be way easier to just take their money and be like, well, you should have known it wasn't for you, I guess.
right, and that's not neither one of us can
No.
operate that way. And then when we did decide to go down to one conference per year, we still wanted to support everybody, so we wanted to offer a quarterly lunch and learn. Also, a lot to plan.
That ended up being too much.
It
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
And now what we'd like to do instead is partner with some networking groups or people that are doing lunch and learns,
Mhm.
other organizations that are doing that, and be a really great partner and resource and direct our people toward that. So we're
Yeah.
not putting our resources into creating something new that already exists that's either successful or has, better funding or resources than what we have.
Right. And there are some amazing groups out there for
Yeah.
women network and women who are networking and want to do that together.
Yeah. So here's what I don't want to keep this going too long since it
Yeah.
is an introduction, and I want to make sure that I can get this edited and the sounds great. um, Here's how you can play along, and this is what we would love for you. If any of this speaks to you and you're still listening right now, then it probably does. Please follow us on social media. We're on uh, Facebook and we're on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn too. I never log into that, but eh,
Is all right.
it's cool. Anyway, so follow us there. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube as well. So we're there. It's all at U conferences. It's easy to find. Conferences is plural because the singular version was already taken somewhere, I believe.
It was. Yeah. And our website is
.com.
uconferences.com.
So yeah, check us out. Definitely start looking for opportunities to network with us.
Hmm.
We'll be sharing all of those on social media. And then look to buy a ticket to the conference this fall when those tickets go on sale.
Yeah. And
Consider speaking.
support us as well. Like
Right,
follow our pages too.
right.
Kendra Eris and Rina Jensen. Nope. Full potential coaching. I forgot I changed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Help us like that. That would mean the absolute world to us and help us get the word out. And I guess one of the other things I would say is maybe you're still listening to this because you like us and you're like, Kendra, Rena, this, it really isn't for me. But I promise you, know somebody that needs that boost or community and share that with them.
Even I would even suggest that the people that don't think it's for them should attend at least one conference because you might be surprised.
You will be surprised.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're just saying we're going to prove you wrong.
We for our girls who enjoy that kind of challenge, please accept it.
Anything else you want people to know?
um I don't know how to eloquently express this.
So don't be eloquent.
I'm not gonna.
Cool.
The satisfaction that this is going to sound selfish, but it's not. The satisfaction that I get out of watching everybody who's there. And I do a lot of people watching, by the way, the day of the conference. So if you think I didn't see that smirk or smile or that, expression of feeling of some kind of way, I probably did. And it really brings me an immense amount of joy to end the day. Like, not to end the day, but at the end of the day. Told you it wasn't going to be eloquent. Um, there are times leading up to the conference that Kendra and I question our sanity
There's every time.
every day. And we think, especially the last couple of years, we have thought, okay, this is probably going to be the last one. In fact, at our 10th one, I remember walking around that day thinking, holy shit, this is going to be the last conference. And it almost was.
It was. When I say it almost was.
It almost was. Like we had a serious conversation after that conference about do we stop? And we then decided to, because right after that, the universe was like, hey, ladies, not today. And several women asked both of us what the plans were for the next conference. Did we have a theme?
We
All the
didn't.
things. We didn't at that time. And then the 11th conference happened, and we realized that we have to keep going. We can't stop this conference. And the number of women that think that this is a national conference is also very interesting. It's not. This is something that Kendra and I started, and
It's branded well.
it is branded. Good job. You did a good job. I am not allowed to do any of the social media, FYI.
I should probably let you do something.
I don't even have access to it.
You don't?
No.
I thought you
No,
did.
I can answer the Facebook messages, and that's it.
Oh,
I can't make a post.
you can't?
No, I
You should
can't.
be able
I
to.
know, but I can't.
How rude.
Whatever. It kind of takes a little bit of weight off of me. I'd be like, oh, can't happen. I can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fair.
Anyway, so to finish my not so eloquent talk, we so much appreciate everybody that comes, and it may seem sometimes like we don't, but in fact, I can't even think of a certain time, any example that would express a lack of gratitude, because it just doesn't exist.
Hmm.
It is the most amazing conference, and I realize I'm biased, but it is the most amazing conference. We try so hard for everyone to be inclusive. We keep it intentionally small. Um, no more than 150 women in that room.
We try to keep it as politically neutral as possible, especially right now,
Yep.
which is admittedly tough because we're human beings and we have opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But we want everybody to feel invited to the table, and we
Yeah,
know we're women. We can have meaningful conversations
we can.
that don't include political landscape.
Right. Exactly. And we also want to make sure that everybody can eat, because eating is important at a
Oh, that's
conference.
right. Well, that is really important, actually.
It is.
We have had the food situation not go well, and you do not want hungry and uncaffeinated women in a room together. That is
No.
not recommended. But I mean, I think that's what makes it work too. Where we have our conference out at Ashton Hill, which, to be honest, it's a wedding venue, and it's not the most convenient venue for a conference, but it allows us to use other small businesses to be our vendors, our food vendors,
Yep.
um, audio visual stuff, and so we get the best of Cedar Rapids.
I'm gonna modify what you said. It is a convenient location. It is a convenient venue. It was the only thing was the two breakout sessions, and I think we have a solution for that for next
Right?
year. So
Yeah. We just have some AV
yeah,
um, challenges.
yeah. Otherwise, it is an amazing
Oh,
space.
it's beautiful.
Everybody loves it. We love it. I think Megan loves having us there.
Yeah, I love everything about it other
Yeah.
than it's not when I said inconvenient, it's like it's not set up to host
There's not
a conference. It's
a
set up to
door.
host a wedding.
Right. It's set up to host wedding. Exactly. And we make it work because it's a beautiful space, and Megan lets us.
Yeah, she's a very appreciated sponsor.
She is. Oh my
But
gosh, yes.
we want you to be a part of it. I guess that's what
Yeah.
how I would
Yeah.
end this.
Yeah. Let's end this one.
Yeah, we can be done.
It's starting to get a little awkward.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening. We'll be back. We don't know when because I make promises I can't keep when audio visual gets involved, but hopefully I've worked out all those bugs and hopefully you will get another podcast next week.
Yes. And if you watch the next podcast, we'll probably be in the same clothes because we're about to record the second one.
We are.
Yeah, we got time. Okay. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.